Hey, we're live. All right, so it is time for my mother to tell the world her story.
Crazy.
This is Coach Bronson here, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And as always, this is my YouTube channel. This is a live stream today. We have my mom, who is 68. I got that wrong because I did a copy paste originally in the notification for this from an old post. So she's actually 68. And we're going to talk about her journey through carnivore, through weightlifting, through thyroid and osteoporosis and all these different things that she's been going through and just destroying stereotypes left and right. Before we do that, I want to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, YouTube channel, if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching this on Facebook, LinkedIn, go to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. And then make sure that you share this information, share this video out with friends. It's going to be on all the platforms for a while, so people can have access to it and learn what's going on with my mom. Cool. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Ron.
We've done this before. That the last time I think we talked was a year and a half, 2 years ago. It's been a while.
It has.
And you were probably, a year into carnivore at the time?
Yeah, it's hard to keep track. It's actually probably been longer ago than I realized because I think it was close. It was toward the end of 2017, beginning of 2018, I think.
Wow. Okay.
When I actually switched. I actually switched over.
Okay. So let's just start from the beginning, so that people can kind of get a background of where you're coming from. You know, a lot of the people that I work with, my niche is kind of developed into working with a lot of women over 40, pre, peri, and postmenopausal women who have gone through these changes. They've gone through their lives and are starting to realize that as they get older, they really need to start doing things to improve their physical ability, improve their freedom. They don't want to be dependent on others as they get older. So what was that process for you? You started working with me one-on-one when you were around 60. And what was that process like for you at 60 years old, starting to work on fitness?
Well, first of all, starting is a very good term because I had done zero in regard to fitness up until that time. And, just living my life and not thinking about anything until I was actually about 61 when I got the official diagnosis that I had osteoporosis. And I was a little freaked out by that and realized I didn't want to go on those medicines that they want to put people on. I had been told by my radiologist, don't do that. Those things are poison. So I said, okay, I need a new plan. Just turned out you were opening a gym right at that time. How fortuitous. So I thought I would talk to you about fitness. You may recall not having ever gone to a gym, not having ever done any physical exercise things aside from a video here and there at home. Going to a gym with a bunch of strangers to work out was really scary. And I talked to you about how I felt about that, and you personal trained me for a month or so before I was ready to step into the gym with other folks.
Yeah, was it just a month? I feel like it was longer than just a month. I feel like it was a while.
I don't know. I think it was just I don't know when the gym opened. I kind of feel like it opened in a January and we started, November, December time.
Yeah.
Before I actually walked into the gym and thought I could do this thing publicly.
Yeah, with in a CrossFit, and it was CrossFit too, nonetheless, not just like a regular gym, right?
Yes, into a CrossFit gym.
And what happened through that process?
A lot of surprises. Surprised that I enjoyed being in the community of people there. Surprised with the encouragement that I got from them. Surprised that I could do any of the things that were being put on the workouts. Surprised that I really, really enjoyed lifting weights. Yeah, so lots of surprises, good surprises.
Good surprises. How did the recognition or the realization that, wait, I like lifting weights, like this is fun. What did that do for you mentally? Did you ever notice that there's a carryover of what you're able to do in the gym into your life? Like, is there a level of confidence or trust in what your body can do and handle that translated outside of the gym?
I would say yes, because instead of feeling nervous and afraid about things, I began to feel like, oh, I can do this and I'm getting stronger at it. And so that translates into the sense of what you always talk about as fitness is freedom, the freedom to do things because I didn't have any concern about whether I could do them.
Mm-hmm. So it's easier to try when you've kind of tested yourself, right? It's the process of testing how far can I push my body? And, oh, I know I can do that. So that means this shouldn't be a problem.
Yes. And also just the mental thing, because even working out all these years since then, there's always a mental part. And so some things, even still, I feel like, okay, I know I can do that. I have to mentally prep myself to do that. You know, that I have to think about where I'm at mentally and physically when I'm facing different things. But I have something to draw on from the experience of having done it.
Right, right. So you've been doing this for about 8 years now. You've gone from the gym. We went through COVID. You worked out at home. Now you have basically a home gym where you've got a bunch of stuff at home. You're doing my program at home, all the kettlebells. Do you feel like have you ever gotten to a point where you're tired, it's stale, you don't have something that's challenging, you feel like, why am I still doing this? Like, what has that process been like for you?
No, I would not say that I feel like it's stale or not challenging. More so, sometimes I go through, this is hard. And why am I doing this? Because it's hard. And maybe I could just, chill for a little bit, sit on the couch, eat bonbons. That would be great. I am 68,
Yeah.
so I do experience that. And I have to remind myself that I'm doing this for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And that reason is still valid. And so there's no reason to stop. So I have to push through sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you're still working a regular job. You're still working more than full time right now.
I am working a crazy stressful job as the principal head of school of a Christian school.
Mm-hmm.
And so, working a lot.
Working a lot. And you're still managing to find time. How do you prioritize, or how do you make time to get your workouts in on a regular basis?
I think what has helped me is deciding what is reasonable. So I know that on the app, there are lots of ladies that are on there that are working out all 5 days of the workouts that are there. And they're just crunching it out day after day. And I can't do that. I know I can't do that in regard to my schedule,
Mm-hmm.
my wherewithal. So I've concluded that I need to be satisfied with 3 days a week. And if I get in 4, or if I manage to get in 5, then I rejoice. But, my commitment is pretty much 3 days a week. And I can space that out to work with my schedule, whether, it's when I first get home from work is usually when I do it.
Okay. When you first get home. So you don't get home, take a break, get something to eat, chill out, and then try to work out, right?
No. If I come home and sit down, that's the end of the story.
Yeah.
So, no. And what I have found is extremely motivating to me that makes me do it is I walk in the door and I immediately go change into my workout clothes, because as soon as I'm in my workout clothes, that's kind of now I'm committed, go do it. Mm-hmm. Don't leave any time in there for making a different decision.
Nice. Okay. And the workouts that you're doing, so you're 68 years old, what types of things are you doing at 68? I'm assuming you've got some kettlebells back there. It looks like you got some plates. I'm assuming you're not just doing 5-pound arm curls in a chair.
No.
Right. That's the stereotypical weight training for seniors.
Right.
That we see. What kind of stuff are you doing?
No, but I do need to make clear that I did not start out with the weights that I'm doing. Because I know there are some ladies that are like, I want to do what you're doing. I say, well, perhaps 7 years from now, if you start now, you can do what I'm doing, because it has taken years of time to build up to the things that I'm doing.
Yep.
And so just for example, last week, I told you the workout last week wiped me out. It was very difficult with, 4 rounds of deadlifts, 4 rounds of deadlifts.
Was that the one with the lunges and everything else?
Well, it was deadlifts and devil presses.
Okay.
Both of those things in the same workout were like tough. And and so that I had to recover a few days from that. That was tough. Mm-hmm. But this week it hasn't been quite so difficult. But yes, I do deadlifts. I deadlifted this week. I deadlifted 110 pounds for 4 rounds of 10 reps.
There you go.
That sort of thing. Box jumps, slam balls.
Yep.
Oh, kettlebell swings.
Yep.
I was doing kettlebell swings this week. And so it's interesting that you talk about the weights that I'm using. And I saw you posted something when someone asked about how heavy and, what they should do about getting heavier kettlebells.
Yeah.
And I had to laugh because I did the kettlebell swings and the drags with 35 pounds and felt like I need to buy a heavier kettlebell. So, that kind of thing makes me happy because I'm all about progress.
Right. You're a tracker.
As a matter of fact, I did an extra round. I was feeling so good.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I get my tracking from you. Like I think you have more spreadsheets than I do, and I have a lot of spreadsheets. You track of stuff. You're very much about numbers, and you want to see those numbers changing and getting better and progressing for sure. Yeah, when it comes to the weight, you progress and start with something that you're comfortable with doing, and then you're gonna eventually go up. Eventually, like anybody watching this, you're gonna start getting, your Amazon wish list is going to be kettlebells and dumbbells and medicine balls and benches and barbells. That's what's going to start being your Amazon wish list. So just get prepared. Prepare your family now. That's what they're going to be buying you for the next few years.
Yes, I love my gym equipment. I appreciate that you have helped me get things set up as I've added on more and more things. I know I encouraged one of the ladies on the app to get a box. Yes, get a box.
Yep.
Box jumps are awesome.
Box jumps, yeah, get one of the soft boxes. So if you do fall on it, you don't hurt yourself, right? They got them.
Yes, for sure.
So you've been working out for about 8 years. You've been, I'll say, mostly carnivore for about 3 years, a little over 3 years. Why did you decide to start doing that?
Well, because it's all about the data. It's all about the data.
Okay.
Because I was working out. Oh, I see Michelle just got her box today.
Yay.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Yeah, so I had been working out, and then you got a in-body scan at the gym, a scanner, and I scanned my body and discovered, much to my chagrin, that I was skinny fat. And so I had too much fat, even though I was not overweight. And I had been working out. And so that was a little disheartening. And you mentioned that nutrition might have a part to play in all of that. Just might. And so I thought, okay, I will try this carnivore thing for a couple weeks and see how that goes. I'll do it for a few weeks and see what happens. And like my journey all along, it's just been one surprise after the other. It was like after 4 weeks, I had dropped a bunch of fat and gained muscle. I gained more muscle in 4 weeks than I had gained in months of time.
Yeah.
Just working out and eating whatever I wanted. And so that kind of sold me. So I appreciate that you say I'm mostly carnivore, because I am not like you.
So what's a day for you normally look like when it comes to
What does a day look like?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's summer. So, I get up a little later than usual because I don't have to be to work till 8 instead of 7.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get up. I usually don't eat a lot because I'm not hungry yet.
Yep.
I
Are
could
you drinking
eat.
coffee?
I'm not a coffee drinker,
Okay.
but I do use the Equip protein. And in the winter, I do it hot, like coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm doing it cold, like a shake. And
Okay.
so that's a great beginning for me, or a hard-boiled egg or that sort of thing. I am not intentionally OMAD, people that, the whole 1 meal a day. I'm not
Yeah.
intentionally that way. But because I tend to be very focused on what I'm doing at work, I sometimes don't stop and eat. And so then I do end up coming home and working out without having really eaten a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that goes just fine. Most of the time that goes just fine.
Yeah.
Recently, it did not go very well. I had worked a 10-hour day, hadn't eaten, came home, tried to do some heavy thruster things or squat cleans, and I was like, not happening.
Yeah.
But then I have dinner. So then I cook up some meat and have dinner and do whatever needs to be done in the evening.
Do you know how much you're eating in a day?
I do track what I'm eating, even though I went for a couple of years not tracking what I'm eating.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really lose much muscle mass. I lost some, not a lot. But I do track what I'm eating, and I'm trying to stick with the protein level that you have recommended, which is between 85 and 120 grams. Because
that's a big range.
That's a big range. Well, it's because my skeletal muscle, my lean muscle, puts me more at the 85.
Right.
But my weight is 120, and so you have encouraged me to eat more meat. So I'm doing fairly well.
Okay.
Getting up toward 100 a day, 100 grams.
Okay. And you just kind of, you're not.
I don't really worry much about fat. It is what it is. And I do try to, pay attention to the carbs. I don't tend to eat. Like I was recently on another group talking, and I mentioned what I eat, and they were like, "Oh no, you must be very confused. I'm sure if you tracked your food, you would realize how many carbs are in fruit and vegetables." And I said, "No, I do track my food, and I don't eat fruits and vegetables." So.
Sorry, guys, I'm not confused.
I'm not confused. I know exactly what I'm doing.
Right. I want to interrupt real quick and just say, if anybody listening to this has any questions or thoughts or anything that they want to ask my mom or me while we're on here, please, we've got the chat here on all the platforms. Just ask a question or make a comment. We'd love to respond and see if there's anything we can do to help you guys out. So do you have any specific goals right now that you're working towards?
Goals. Well,
I know of one in
yes.
particular.
Well, I am trying to get to and stay at 40% skeletal muscle mass. I have gotten there, and I keep fluctuating between like 38.6 and so it's making me crazy. But I'm trying to stay at 40% skeletal muscle mass. Not real worried about my fat mass because I figure it will take care of itself. And I am concerned about wanting to continue to keep my osteoporosis at bay.
Yep.
Because I was able to reverse it, but it's not something that is static. You have to continue to do weight-bearing exercises for it to not be impacted. Someone wants to see my shirt.
Yep.
Carnivore is with real salt. So
this episode brought to you by Real Salt.
Yes. So so I'm trying to do those things that makes me be challenged from what you have said, I need to lift heavier, not necessarily more volume.
Yep.
So I've been trying to focus on that and adjust the workouts accordingly. It's hard because I look at the workout and I feel like I need to do what it says. And so that's why the other day when you said, well, why did you do 20 deadlifts instead of doing 10 heavier? And I was like, I don't know. Because the workout said to do 20. So I did what it said. But I am trying to work on keeping my bone density, strong and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're close to, I mean, that's really good. You're that close to 40%, which is what I recommend women be at from how much skeletal muscle they have compared to their overall body weight. So you're right there. I mean, and I think one of the biggest things you'll find is over the summer, hopefully you have less stress. Hopefully you have a little bit more time to focus and stuff, and you can work on building a little bit more, and you're not all over, because stress plays a role, right? Stress plays a role in your ability to grow.
It does. And I see somebody asked about my energy level.
Yeah.
If I work a normal day, although as a school principal, a normal day is not a normal day. But if I work a 12-hour day, then I'm wiped. But if I work an 8-hour day, then usually I'm pretty fine with my energy. I'm not a morning person. I'm not really a night person. I tell everyone I'm a middle of the day person. So,
Yeah.
I get the most energy in the middle of the day. But if I get home at a decent hour, usually I say to myself, because I'm picking 3 days a week. Okay. So someone was saying how many times a week? I think about 3 days a week I'm working out. And so if I get home by 4:30, 5 o'clock, I will generally go ahead and work out. If it's 6 o'clock or afterwards, then that's a wash for me. I know that's not going to be a good decision.
Right.
Susie's asking about weights versus cardio. I would say my coach kind of determines that in that I'm on the app, so I'm doing the workouts that are there 5 days a week. I do cherry pick them a little bit. Sorry. I hate to say, but I'm only picking 3. So I got to pick the ones that I feel like I can manage.
Sure.
So for example, recently you posted death by thrusters. And I said, no, because I would die. And so, I was not going to do, I knew that I didn't have because I think it's also a benchmark thing.
I was going to say, that's a benchmark one. You should have done that one.
No, because the last time I did it, I was able to increase my reps by 11. And I was really excited. And I knew that I was not going to reach that or exceed that. And that would just bum me out. So, so I didn't choose that one. But the workouts themselves include cardio and weights, Susie. So you get both things in regard to that. I don't like cardio, but I do it. And recently, not too long ago, I got a rowing machine, which I like way better than some of the other options.
Than running, for sure.
Yeah. And
yeah,
so
I like
rowing is not nearly as odious as running. And I wish I could do double unders, but I can't. So I have to do single unders on the jumping.
Yeah.
But I do try to balance it.
Yeah. And the workouts that you're doing, there's a difference between metabolic conditioning in general and cardio specifically. Cardio is a form of metabolic conditioning. So when we talk about cardio, that's just one aspect of improving your body's ability to use energy. So every once in a while, there is a long cardio specific workout, but every workout you're getting some kind of metabolic conditioning. So you're getting that work in there no matter what.
Yeah, for sure. I feel the need to answer Becca's question about the endorphin hit. I'm surprised in a way that you don't feel that. And maybe I'm not, I don't know if that's what I'm feeling or not. I will tell you that mentally, if I don't work out for a few days, I start to feel bad. I start to feel lethargic. I start to feel like, I don't know, not good. And even though I don't necessarily feel like working out, invariably,
Yep.
when I push myself through and I go and work out, I feel immediately better. I have no idea if it has anything to do with endorphins.
It does.
I know that
So,
mentally,
yep.
I feel better when I'm productive and I'm doing something that is positive. And so I know for me mentally, that's a whole lot of it is now I feel better about myself because I went and did that. And it perceptionally, it feels like my body feels better too.
Yeah.
I feel more fit just by doing a workout.
Yep, absolutely. And Becca, I don't know what exercises you're doing, or what program you're following, but a lot of this is a thing with running. Okay, when I run, I never get that. I know people talk about the runner's high and they run and they feel amazing afterwards and everything else. And here's what I found is that I do get that when I do heavy lifting. I do get that when I do a CrossFit workout or whatever else. The difference between my other workouts and running, even with rowing, I can get it when I'm rowing, right? It's a long cardio endurance type exercise. I don't get it with running because I don't give myself to the exercise. When I'm running, I'm always holding back. I'm never going 100% because it's not something that I like to do. I never feel like I can just give myself to it and just go and let myself get into the workout. When it comes to all the other workouts, I can just let myself go. So I'm working harder. I'm putting more into it. I'm actually making my body do more work because I've bought into what the work is doing for me. So there's a difference in for lack of a better term, giving yourself to the work. If you put the level of intensity in and you're actually going in there and working as well as you possibly can and trying to get the most out of every single workout, then very likely you're going to feel that rush. And it's a rush is one way to say it. A feeling of accomplishment is another way to say it. Feeling just good and feeling energized afterwards, after you catch your breath and you realize, hey, that was a great workout. I've got a pump, or I feel like I really did good work today, whatever that may be. But it's really just about how much are you giving into it. The more you give into it, the more you're going to get out afterwards.
And can I add too, I think that Becca's saying she thinks most exercises are boring. I think a lot of exercises certainly can be boring if they are long and repetitive.
Yeah.
The thing that I have found is by having a mindset of the challenge, doing something that I couldn't do before. For example, box jumps are a perfect example of that. I don't find box jumps boring because achieving it was so difficult.
Yeah.
And I have to mentally be ready to do it, that I have to engage with that. It's like as a teacher, I'm a teacher, I'm an administrator of a school. The more you engage, the less boring it is. And so I found with weightlifting, I do enjoy it, but I'm also thinking, okay, can I lift 5 more pounds? Let me see if I can put 5 more pounds on the bar and successfully lift it. Can I go 1 more rep? That kind of thing helps me to not be bored.
Yep.
And that's why the data helps me, because I don't get into a rut.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And whenever there's an exercise that's boring, you have two options: find something that's not boring, or put yourself in a mental position to figure out how to get the most out of it so that you're focused on what you're doing and why you're doing it. So yeah, there may be an exercise. Like there's some exercises I just hate, like Bulgarian split squats. I think Bulgarian split squats are a universally hated exercise. I had to do 5 sets of 10 of them today in my program. Okay. I did not want to do them, right? But I did them. And what I did is I focus on how well can I do these? Can I get the activation I'm looking for? Can I move in the way that I want to move? And I tried to do the best I could at them. That took my focus away from, I don't like doing these. So I just took that energy, and instead of just thinking like, I don't want to do these and doing them haphazardly and not really getting the most out of them, change that focus to, I want to get the most out of these I possibly can. If I have to do them, I might as well do them as good as possible. And that totally, by the time I was done, it was like, oh, that wasn't so bad, right? Because you just got to change that focus. So, Becca, if you have a lot of exercises that you don't like doing, they're boring, maybe there's a different program you can do. You can put them into a different order, routine. Maybe give yourself a time limit. See how fast can you get them done. or give yourself a weight. I want to try to get to this weight, whatever it may be. Find a way to make it challenging so that, like my mom said, you're engaged in those exercises a little bit more. That's I like that. Being engaged in the exercise. That's a great way to say it. All right. So let's see. We got another question. Teresa's asking, have you influenced the people around you to want to start working out and get healthier?
I certainly have tried. Most people are all about, well, that is great for you. I could never do that. And so, I've not been very successful in getting people. I've invited people over to my gym because it's big enough I could actually have some friends come over and work out with me, but they all just feel like they can't do it and they want to eat carbs. And so they just look at me and, scratch their heads.
So you have a different challenge too, because you don't have what's visibly a transformation story that a lot of people can connect to. Because it's not like you were 100 pounds overweight and then you lost all this weight and then there's this transformation. Your transformation was more literally in what we talk about fitness doing. Your transformation was just in your physical ability to do things. There were things under the surface, but they weren't things that are visible, right? Osteoporosis and thyroid things aren't things that people can see visibly.
Right. So and they look at you and they say, you look like you're, healthy enough. You're not overweight and all of that sort of thing. Someone recently said something to me about they thought that I looked too thin, Bronson. And this is what I said to them. I said, I want you to know I'm 40% muscle.
There it is. Bam.
And so it doesn't matter what you think. I can do things that perhaps you can't do because I'm strong, even though I'm small.
Yep.
And, that's a good thing. Somebody asked about osteoporosis. I want to go back a little bit there.
Okay.
Because that is an issue that many women deal with is, our bones they do start to deteriorate. And what I have found is weight-bearing exercise and protein. And I do take a supplement that I'm going to go ahead and throw in here because I think it has made a difference, all of those things together. It is called Algical. I actually did a testimonial on their website too because I feel like it made a difference. So, taking their bone builder pack, eating protein, doing weight-bearing exercise, it probably took 2 years to reverse the osteoporosis to where my scans are now in the normal range, which I was really excited about.
Fantastic. And you've got thyroid things too going on, right?
Well, I have hypothyroidism, which I've had for years and years and years. That is traditionally a progressive illness. Mine has not progressed. I still am taking Synthroid, but it's still at a pretty low dose. And, just seems to be, stable there. So I'm good with that.
Is it less than it was originally? Has it gone down?
It is. What's interesting about that is that for those of you that maybe are on thyroid medicine, I was up to 110 micrograms a day of Synthroid. And the doctor determined that for some strange reason, all of a sudden it was too much. And so now I'm down to 75.
Fantastic. So lower thyroid medicine, no more osteoporosis. You love to deadlift. You like to eat a lot of meat.
Yep.
Let's see. Lori saying,
I have not had thyroid nodules, Lori, so I can't speak to that. I just have never had that.
Okay. Teresa's question about feeling like you want to give up. Do you ever feel like you want to give up? That's a good question because I know for me, I definitely have looking at things now, right? I'm 50 years old, just turned 50. And I got my AAP card in the mail the other day. Woohoo! And I look at it, it's been 12 years since I've been on this journey myself. And looking at another 30, 40, 50 years, it's like, man, that's a long time. I got to keep going to the gym for the next 40 years. I got to keep doing this for the next 40 years, you know? And yeah, I do. You kind of just have to acknowledge, like, this is a lifestyle. It's not something that goes away.
The thing that helps me with that, because I do sometimes feel like, do I want to keep doing this? Well, you know, you need reasons. One of my reasons is very practical, is that my husband spent a whole bunch of money. We spent a whole bunch of money setting up this gym. And so it's sitting here, and I would feel really bad if I stopped using it. So that's a motivator. But the other thing is, I remind myself, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
And so I can go through the day and be thinking, oh, I just want to eat whatever, or I just want to go home and crash. And then I realize, wait, I actually feel pretty good. And I want to keep feeling pretty good. And so, you know, that is a huge motivator for me.
Yeah. 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 It's nice to be able to get up in the morning and not feel like you're crunching every bone, every time you move, you get out of bed. And it just going through the day with the aches and pains and having the energy and being at the end of the night and being like, I put in a good work. I put in effort today to make myself better, and go to bed every night knowing that you've made decisions for your health and for your future. I mean, there's a sense of mental health that goes with that as well.
Yes, I have found that. Andrea wants to know how I handle eating on vacation. Poorly. I handle it poorly. Now, I have found, though, from handling it poorly. So, for example, a couple of years ago, we went to the beach, and I thought, I'm at the beach. I'm going to eat the traditional things that I would always eat at the beach. So I'm going to eat these cookies with milk, and I'm going to eat these things because I'm on vacation and I want to do that. And what I found was, I ate a couple of cookies. I felt so sick. I threw the rest of the package away. I said, what is wrong with me? Why am I doing this? And so I still often eat whatever I want to eat when I'm on vacation, and then feel sorry about it afterwards.
Yeah. But I mean, it's again, progress, not perfection. You're still working on, you know, you realize, hey, I shouldn't have done that. It wasn't the best for me. I feel like crap. So that also reinforces the idea of, I want to feel good, so I'm not going to do that again.
Right. Absolutely. And, you know, hopefully I start out vacations with, my intention is to stay strong and just eat that meat. And then you go wherever you go and make a different choice. That fish and chips calls my name, and that's the end of that story.
Fish and chips have always been your thing.
You know, I love fish and chips. So, yeah, let's see. How do I even get started? You don't have a Bronson. You do have a Bronson. I will happily share him with you. Bronson lives near to me, but not so near that I see him in person very much. I see Bronson about as much as the rest of you on the app. I see Bronson when he posts the app workouts and when he comments about the app workouts and that sort of thing. So
you see me more than that. Make me sound like
I do see you some more than that. But my point being this, my access to Bronson in regard to fitness is the same as your access. You know, Bronson is available with the workouts and the comments and all of that sort of thing to help you as well. And, you know, I have found that to be effective. Someone had asked, does my husband work out with me? No, I wish he did. And he is still pondering that. And so he's working his way towards, you know, utilizing the gym with us. He did a few years ago. A few years ago, we both were going to the CrossFit gym and we were working out, and, you know, he had lost weight and things were going really well. But then he developed this kind of heart palpitation thing, and it caused him great concern. The cardiologist says it's nothing, but he said he does not want to feel that ever again. So,
I mean, he felt like he was going to
pass out. And so, you know, he's got that to overcome. And he's working his way back toward that. So it's me alone in my gym.
Yep. Just showing up every day and doing what you can. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll just go back to what you're saying. Like, everybody has access to me, guys. This is that's absolutely right. I appreciate people saying in the comments that, you know, they're able to do this stuff. There's a beginner program. You don't have to have equipment. You don't have to have a lot of space. You don't have to have a gym. There are options for things if you're interested to follow up on. You can go to my website. You can talk to other people in here. Whatever platform you're seeing this on, ask in the comments, ask people in the groups how they're doing it. And the program is there for everyone to have access to. So it's definitely something that can be done.
And actually, if you get on the app, you know, I have to say, people like Michelle, I see you there. I see Terry, you know, we make comments to encourage one another regarding the workout, you know, so whether we're moaning and bemoaning about what the workout is, or whether we have achieved a PR, either way, you do the workout and you put in comments and you get feedback and interaction with other people.
Yeah.
And it is cool. I like it.
Yeah. Susie, you're asking about the difference between endurance and stamina. They are not the same thing. So endurance is your ability to do work for an extended period of time. The level of effort or intensity that you're doing that work doesn't matter. So if I run 5 miles, I may start fast and end slow, but I ran 5 miles, however long it took me. Okay. Stamina is being able to do a set amount of work for a set amount of time at the same level of effort every single time. So it's more about repetitive effort and doing it at the same level of intensity. So maybe I run a 400-meter sprint as fast as I can. And then the next time I run it as fast as I can. And the closer I can keep those times and the level of effort together, the better my stamina is. So that's where the differences are. They can both help each other. If you work on your endurance, you're going to help your stamina and vice versa, but they are both definitely different things. I hope that answers your question, Susie. Let's see, we got anything else?
Sarah has a comment about exhaustion with mast cell. I can't read the rest
I
of
live
it.
across the street from my gym. Okay. But POTS is concerning me along with the exhaustion mast. Yeah. So Sarah, that's definitely something you have to work through. I'm assuming and hoping you're working with some people that are helping you through the process of dealing with all that, managing it and working with what we call your maximum recovery volume. How much work can you do before it's hard for you to recover and do some work again? So you're not overdoing it. Essentially, it's basically just keeping a level of effort that allows you to be consistent. So that's what you got to work on trying to find. Cool. You got anything else you want? Any other questions before we go, guys? We're about 45 minutes. I think that's a good time frame for people to watch this on the replay without getting too overwhelmed with how much time we have. Do you have anything you want to say, Mom, before we drop off? I have something I want to say.
Okay, go ahead and say something, Bob.
My mom is going to be at KetoCon if anybody's going to KetoCon.
Yes,
we're going to have her there. I have a book signing. She'll be at the book signing. And maybe we'll have her some other places you guys get a chance to meet her too. So just keep that in mind.
I would love to meet some of you all in person. Really, I would say this. If you are inspired at all by what I do, be inspired from the perspective of, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I didn't start out with a strong physical fitness background. You just need to find your why and commit to it, and then just keep doing it. When I first went to the gym, all I said to myself was, I'm going to show up and do what they tell me to do. And that was my level of commitment. I'm going to show up and do what they tell me to do. And still now I say I'm going to show up in my basement and do what Bron tells me to do on the app. And it's almost miraculous how, if you do that, you will become stronger, faster, more flexible, have better balance, all of that sort of thing, almost by magic. Somebody posted the other day, I can't remember who it was, on one of the workouts, and she said, wow, I was able to do it heavier for more reps. That surprised me. because it just happens.
Yeah.
So start. Everyone has to start someplace.
Yep. Yep. I like that study, that article that I sent out this week about as we age.
You're never too old to lift.
You're never too old to lift and gain muscle, right? That's awesome. But
Yes.
you're never too old to get started, but you're it's never a good time to stop.
Absolutely. The other one I like is somebody had posted that 1% of effort doing something toward your health is more than 0%.
Yeah.
So you may feel like I can't do all that. It's overwhelming. People look at CrossFit, they look at these things, they go, I can't do that. So there's no point. 1% of doing something is better than 0%. And you're going to see progress. And so I would say start.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks a lot, Mom. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for hopping on. This replay will be live for a while. At some point, probably about a week from now, I'm going to put this into the members only section of our YouTube channel. So if you want to see the replay after a few days, you will only be able to get access to it if you are a member. All right. So go check out the YouTube page. There's 4 different levels of membership. You get different perks with each of them. The top level is what you need in order to get access to the fitness app if you want to start doing the same workouts that my mom's doing. And you can talk to her in the app when you're in there.
Yes.
All right. Take it easy,
I'll be happy
guys.
to see you there.
We'll see you guys soon. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.